is enough. Why we're doing this, we've been struggling with the government, our government. We have been logging calls. There is illegal structures in our area. We don't even know where they're coming from. They're taking our electricity, they're taking our water, they're taking everything, they're raping. Look, it's big. This thing is big, and we're tired because they're occupying the small spaces that we have, and now we're having pick it up who are not coming. We're having a lot of issues with Richard E. They're not coming to help us. So we said today is today. We are shutting down. They must come and hear us.
While protesters have set Johannesburg's oldest township alight in a desperate bid to have their voices heard, Alexandra has been shut down for the past 2 days. Residents demanded that Mayor Herman Mashaba come and listen to their grievances. They say they're tired of empty promises and want change now. So tonight we'll be drilling down into some of the issues that have driven this desperate community to take drastic action as well. So let's listen more to what the residents of Alexandra Township had to say.
It's going down. Why is job creation? Are they against the foreigner? The government arona. How do you welcome the foreigner? How do you better? What is country Jamila ko di better? How do you babata hore the crime fele? How do the police station?
Well, joining me in studio for this conversation, I've got Alexandra Chamber of Commerce President Mpho Motsumi, as well as Alexandra Community Leader Bobby Solomons. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us this evening. Now, first of all, one must say that it's quite valid plea to say that you feel as though Alexandra Township has been ignored. However, I must ask the question, why now? Is it because you know that you can hold literally the country at ransom, really, by making your grievances heard just before the May 8th elections? Or is it because you were so fed up that your fed-upness decided to articulate itself in April the 4th? Why is it now?
Actually, it's not about the electioneering. It's a stage where everybody has said enough, it's enough. We need to, and above all, I think we have trying to engage with the city of Joburg.
For how long?
I've brought this with me.
Okay.
It's a trail of emails of us wanting to engage with the mayor. I actually personally, approached him to say, Mayor, can we have a meeting?
May I see this?
Yeah.
While you're speaking about it, I'd actually like to see some of these engagements that have been taking place, with the mayor.
It's all here.
Because, otherwise we're not going to give him a right of reply. He's going to come in and he's going to say, no, but you did not try to reach out to me, but you have. So these are the various emails that were sent to the mayor, and you're saying that the mayor has been ignoring.
And the correspondence with the office of the mayor. We've had all those.
And then you feel as though the intervention was not enough?
Yeah, that was since last year. We've been trying to engage with the mayor.
Okay.
Yeah, including, partly with the premier. The premier, yes, there was a response where the premier actually committed publicly, because we wanted the name change of the Marlborough station to become Alexandra station, which I had to unpack that to the premier, which he acknowledged that we are the only black community within the Gautrain rail line. And we are the only community that doesn't have a feeder bus. And remember, what you call Marlborough Station, which is actually in Alexandra, is the junction of the Gautrain rail line. So, and is the only station that is not named after its location or its place. And the premier responded and committed publicly to change the name, but it's not only us wanting just to have a name change, but it's because it has to create, actually market and develop, Alex.
So there are numerous issues that have been put on the table here in terms of exactly the grievances of the community of Alexandra Township. But I want to bring you into this because I believe that the one event organizer, Sandile Mavundla, was speaking about how on Wednesday night you received some kind of information that, in fact, you'd have private security guards that were hired to attack protesters as well as disrupt demonstrations. Number one, I have to ask you, do you have notification in terms of who those private security guards are and who they were hired by to actually cause those disruptions?
Look, on the issue of private security guards, I'm not privy on that. But but what I can tell you is that like when we engaged on this protest, you know, we were a community, and then obviously when we engaged on it, we were trying to address concerned issues from the residents of Alex. So this is basically the protest is a culmination of various issues which happened, you know, before the shutdown. So the communities was complaining to councillors, and then from then on, when things went down, then concerned community members sort of gathered, and then there was a march basically planned to COJ offices in Sandton. I think on the corner of Grayston, and I'm not sure of the other street. But then when that march happened, a memorandum was handed to, basically we wanted to meet the regional director.
Is it true that now you want to go to the union buildings?
No.
You don't want to go to the, you want to meet the Mayor Herman Mashaba?
No, that's just misinformation. Let me clarify you on that. The issue is that basically, when the shutdown happened, it's due to our frustration of our memorandum not being addressed.
Okay.
And then the issues, basically, which we wanted addressed is basically the issue of refuse collection. That's a service delivery issue. You know, you can't say, hey, no, the ANC did that. You know, we need service delivery now, you know. Rubbish is basically produced on a daily basis. So you can't say, no, the ANC did this, so therefore we cannot collect rubbish. And then there's the issue of the invasion of basically empty spaces, you know, how they are lawlessly invaded. And then we know that JMPD, basically issues, those are issues of bylaws, the issue of invasion of spaces and all that. And that's a competency of local government. Therefore, JMPD and maybe SAPS as well need to basically respond to such issues. And they're doing nothing, you know. And then there's also issues of potholes as well. You know, you can't really say service delivery issues, everyday service delivery issues are historical and all that. Yes, they might be historical in some instances, but the fact is, they are the part. The DA is the party in government currently, so they need to resolve those issues. Do you feel like the DA is actually ignoring you? I have to ask. Do you feel like the Democratic Alliance is ignoring? And if they are ignoring you, why are they ignoring the significantly large township, the oldest township in Johannesburg, one that they know that if the Alexandra township decides to revolt, now things stand still. So why would you feel like I'm asking, the Democratic Alliance is ignoring you? Yeah,
like I said, there's a proof of us trying to engage with the city of Joburg.
And also the march that we did.
And also over and above, you know, in whatever development that I asked the MMC of Economic Development, Leonard, last time when they invited us at the council chambers to say, but since you've been into this as a new administration, which is 2 years, there's no economic activity that has happened in Alex. As much as ourselves, as the Chamber of Commerce have tried to initiate some, but there's a lack of political will from an element of arrogance from the city of Joburg. Everything they want to bring, they impose on without even consultation. You know, we wanted to develop the reason, taking you just back to why we wanted the name change of Marlborough Station to Alexandra Station, to be able to create an access and an opportunity to market Alexandra and develop it into, you know, Alex has a very rich history, which we're doing injustice to that history of Alex. You know, the icons that comes from Alex and the role that the Alexandra, I mean, 3 presidents, and remember, Alex, over and above, we are one of the biggest recipients of rural migration.
Okay, but then, gentlemen, I have to ask you, your points are valid, and I'm not taking away from the validity of your points. No? Your points are absolutely valid. But, Bobby, Mpho, as you sit here, when you close down schools during a protest, no, just hear me out. When you close down schools during a protest and children are prevented from going to school, that's doing a disservice to the very same service that you're trying to get for the community. When there's an issue around burning of tires and the burning of rubble and blockading of roads, do you not think that that way, I'm not saying that it's not taking away from the validity of this, But do you not think that that way is actually taking away from the very same plight you're trying to do? In other words, if you're burning the very same streets and the roads that you have to use and the very same institutions that you have to use, does that not then declare your issue redundant, especially when it comes to kids going to school? Come on, these are your kids.
But can I just come in there and correct you? There was no vandalization of any structure or anything. I had to applaud the people of Alexandra for the discipline. You know, this was a peaceful march, which I also have a footage of the JMPD inciting shooting at peaceful protesters. I have that. I have it in my possession. So, and, you know, we had to shut down everything for us to get an attention because we've tried all avenues. We've exhausted all the avenues. You know, so how, you know, if you can come into our shoes and feel it's not what we like to be seen happening, but, you know, we need to sacrifice some of the things to bring attention to our plight because the very children that you're talking, they're living in an unbearable environment. It's unacceptable. If you walk in Alex, there's filth, there's all that, which is, you know, and we are just a stone throw from the richest square mile in the continent, Sandton. And if you look at the disparity, the development in Sandton and Alex, and, you know, the lack of the government will, but as much as we try to lobby the private sector to come and invest in Alex, how would they invest in an environment where there's lawlessness, there's this unacceptable environment? As yourself, even as an investor, you don't want to come.
I'm not taking away from the validity of this. Unfortunately, we've run out of time. But as I said, surely when it comes to this, and I understand, and I take your point around issues of we need attention, we demand for us to be heard. But the burning of the very same institutions that you're going to need, that is a problem.
No, let's correct you on that. There was no institution, there was no government buildings, no businesses which were vandalized.
Nothing.
Nothing. No building was burned. The occurring of the, basically, when burning happened, it was only tires in the middle of the streets.
Just to block.
And, you know, in protests like of this nature, it's difficult to control everyone because there are people who come there with their own agendas.
I saw that on some report you were saying that there's a third force. Bobby and Paul, we can speak all night about this, and I'm sure that you definitely haven't heard, and I'm sure that the city of Joburg will also be responding to this as well. But we have to leave our conversation there. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us for this evening, looking at the plight of the community of Alexandra ahead of that two-day shutdown. Well, Travelers International weather is up next, and then the Freedom Front Plus wants the IEC to deregister elections, a newcomer, Black First, Land First, for being a racist organization. The BLF, as well as on the other hand, contends that the FF Plus are the racists. Up next, we speak to both parties to make sense of their argument. Stay with us.